Hello and welcome to the Stellar panel discussion on retail standards in practice. I'm Neil McLaughlin and I run the delivery experience and logistics team here at eBay in the UK. Hopefully you've had a chance over the last couple of days to watch some of the videos from my team on retail standards, international delivery and fulfillment. But if you haven't had a chance to do so, don't worry, they'll be live online for the next 30 days for you to catch up at your leisure. Also, if any of these topics we discussed now pique your interest, please do grab one of my team after this session at the breakout area. So let's get on with the session. Please join me in welcoming Niti, my colleague, and also our two sellers, Lindsay and Clive, onto the stage. Cheers, guys. Welcome. Please take a seat. Niti, over to you.
Thank you, Neil. Lindsay and Clive, welcome. It's great to have you here with us on the Settle panel.
Good to be here.
Before we get into the details of the topic for today around retail standards and what delivery options do you use and why they're important to the buyers, we'd love to hear about you from you. So why don't you introduce yourselves, tell us about your business, and also tell us how the last 18 months have been for you in particular.
Okay. I'm an online multi-channel jewellery retailer, but it's a long way from where I started. Originally, I qualified as a mechanical design engineer, working in the construction industry, moving into manufacturing, then engineering management, and finally company data control. Then, as life does, it had a few twists and turns, and I found myself at home as a full-time carer to an autistic son. That's when my relationship with eBay really started, selling everything not bolted down, quite literally. Over the years, I've developed what I'm selling and found my niche in jewellery retail, and in 2017, I set up as O Jewellery. My name is Lindsay Heyman, and I run O Jewellery Limited on eBay. I'm here today because last year an opportunity came up to work with eBay on trialling their new fulfillment solution, eBay Fulfillment with Orange Connects, which was a great fun thing to do, and I've got some experience using fulfillment solutions previously, one for another large channel, and also another multi-channel fulfillment solution.
And we were delighted to have you as our very first eBay fulfillment seller, so welcome here.
Thank you.
Clive, over to you.
Clive Murphy, I'm a director of a company called iForce. We provide warehousing and fulfillment services for a number of retailers. My experience with eBay goes back to 2009, where previously I was working for a business and we launched a store for Tesco, which was Tesco Outlet, selling refurbished and new products. And I've gone on to launch a number of stores for manufacturers and brands, including Reckitt Benckiser, Mars Pet Care. And now with iForce, we've recently launched stores for Pepsi and also Heinz. And the takeout for the last 18 months, as a business, we were effectively in peak for the whole of that period, with around about 2,500 to 3,000 colleagues constantly on site through a pandemic. And the real one standout fact was we couldn't believe how much wine the UK drank. We shipped nearly 1 million bottles in 1 week at the start of the pandemic. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I can to tell you from a sample of one that observation is absolutely right.
Yeah, indeed.
Right, so let's get on to getting your thoughts on some of the topics around retail standards. So, Lindsay, what do you think that customers really want when it comes to delivery options, and what do you do to offer those choices, especially as Neil talked about importance of retail standards in e-commerce?
I think people have got really used to things when they buy them. They want them almost yesterday. There's such a high expectation on things arriving quickly, and tolerance for things taking more than 3 days is just, it's not there. If you hit more than 3 days with an item, I find you're getting a string of messages, and then it's time, so much time to answer those, to get back to the customers, to reassure them, to look up the tracking number, to find it, and all the rest. So I ship everything Royal Mail 24 or through the fulfillment solutions with the guaranteed next day service. I offer special delivery guaranteed for those customers that really do want it next day in the areas that you can get special delivery guaranteed next day. and and some international services and global shipping program.
Great. And Clive, for you?
As is a bit around choice, we're lucky enough that we're integrated with all the UK couriers, so we can select based on the area that you're actually buying from, so we can route a parcel that, to a particular area with a particular courier, because we can work out how effective they are in that area. But Lindsay's right, people do expect to get their products quickly. But a lot of it is about how you kind of position the product and how you communicate with the customer. That you're calling out the facts of when it's going to be delivered, make it clear, and communicate at each stage. That when the courier's got it, you can send through messages to the customer.
So tracking is important.
Tracking's important, and contact with the customer, because it can actually remove all the questions that you're getting.
Yes,
Because you can actually send the messages out through the system.
Or if you have a fulfillment solution, then they look after all of that for you.
It's their headache, yeah.
It's their headache. So you're really, what you're talking about is the need to have choice of delivery options, and is free shipping important?
Oh, absolutely. It's. I think we all check our categories and what our competitors are doing, which is, really important. Everybody offers free in mine. I think if I put postage on, I would just drop off the bottom of the listings. It's with jewellery, it's in the price. If you're paying £80 for something, you don't then want to pay an extra £3, £4, £5 for postage. You're paying £80, it's in the price. So.
That's really very much the expectation of the buyers now, right?
Yeah. They expect it included in the price.
Yes.
I'm yet to find a free courier.
Of course, no such thing as free lunch, yes. So have you seen any particular changes or shifts in buyer perception on delivery expectations in the post-pandemic world as we are coming out of, hopefully coming out of a very difficult 18 months?
I think people have become a little bit more tolerant, especially when the pandemic really hit and they could see that there was only a limited amount of people actually allowed out to work or going out to work.
Yeah.
So people did become more tolerant, but that only lasts for a very short space of time. And then they're back on to, we expect it when you say it's going to be delivered.
And faster.
And faster, yeah.
And Lindsay, for you?
It's been such a topsy-turvy period. Some customers have been absolutely fantastic, really tolerant, waited a month for something which should have been next day. They respect that I've put the tracking on, I've tried to upload it, that I've promised them I will refund. And some, if it's not there next day, they're in with a case, they want it refunded. And then you have the headache of it does arrive, because you knew it would, because otherwise Royal Mail would be knee-deep in parcels. And then you've got to work out how they pay for that item that has then tracked as arrived after they've been refunded. So it's...
The biggest challenges we had was actually around two-man couriers.
Yeah.
Because there was an awful lot of furniture, and especially outdoor furniture, purchased in that time frame. And there just wasn't the capacity within that, that delivery network. So that was challenging, I think, for a lot of retailers.
And how did you overcome that? Or did you
Again,
overcome
clear
that?
communication.
Yeah.
It's the only way to deal with it. That you can't change that there's no capacity.
Yes.
So you've got to clearly communicate whether it's en route or it's not left yet because of capacity.
Yes.
And then I guess moving now into obviously a new peak coming out of lockdown, how do you see those challenges kind of getting worse or better, or how are you kind of managing that going forward for this next?
Well, similar to us, the couriers have been basically at peak for the 12, 18-month period. So, you've had couriers that have taken distribution centres out of mothball and restarted them up again, opened up new facilities. So now there is actually huge capacity in the logistics network. But then they're going to have, there's other challenges that we've just faced this weekend, haven't we, where everyone's gone mad and said that there's no fuel. So, I think there will still continue to be challenges, but I think the infrastructure now is better post-pandemic than what it was before we went into it. I think they're better prepared for peak now.
Let's hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Great. So, Lindsay, as we introduced you, you were one of our first fulfillment sellers. So, tell us a little bit more about that. What made you try it, and what's been your early impression so far of the program?
I'm a massive fan of fulfillment solutions as a very low risk, low overhead way of expanding your business. I had hit capacity some time ago with what I could do on my own, and I had to look at what I could outsource. And we all know to outsource our accounts because that's easy and we can see what that is and we can get someone else to do that. But one of the quite high time overhead things we do is pack and label our stuff every day. And for me, it's far more efficient to pack 50 items in one go and send them off to a fulfillment solution than pack one and then print out the label and stick it on and go to the post office even and queue. So putting a value on my time meant that moving to fulfillment was a really sensible thing to do. I've used fulfillment before, but the big difference moving to Orange Connects is that they're actually, with eBay, managing the back end of the transaction. So all those where's my item emails, all that, which I don't get very many of because it is next day, but all those problems they're managing, and that's a massive time overhead off my shoulders, which is fantastic. I've only had one item that's actually gone missing in the post, and the customer was very polite about it and sent a message, but then it was picked up and they were refunded, didn't cost me a penny. I still had my sale. I had a happy customer because they'd had an instant refund, all sorted. So it's been
Fantastic. That's very good to know, and of course that means that you can get on with other things in life.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, when I first went to fulfillment, one of the big reasons, this was pre-pandemic, is I'm a mum of three and my husband's a teacher, so he gets quite a bit of time where he's not in school, and we love to travel. We live midway between Manchester and Liverpool airports. So as soon as the cheap flights come out, we're on them. We're nipping off around the world. We go away 5-6 times a year in the holidays. We were just joking beforehand about we got £6 flights to Berlin Easter year before last, and we could just hop on the flights. You know, the business is staying open because the fulfillment's doing it. So long as I check in once a day, you know, everywhere has Wi-Fi these days. The business keeps ticking over.
Yes.
I mean, one of my favourite where I've been when I've been eBaying stories was my daughter wanted to do a second reindeer ride when we were in Lapland, and so she went off and did a reindeer ride, and I sat in a semi hut, roaring fire, and a customer wanted to buy a ring and discuss a ring, so I was there eBaying, selling it, saying, yeah, it can be with you next day, while sat on holiday having a whale of a time. It's, you know, that's what fulfillment can do for you. It lets you balance your life out.
Yes, and it's you know it's the advantage of having a 24/7 operations really, without having to work 7 days a week.
That's it, and yeah, and they can be open all those days. And it's you know, fulfillment is, people are expecting 6 days, even 7-day shipment of goods these days, and they do that. And of course, if you have a spell where you're poorly, or like me, one of the kids is off school sick, the fulfillment's still doing it. So the business is always open, and you just, so long as you can touch base and do that little bit of customer service, it keeps going.
Great.
Does it enable you to have more time, hopefully, to spend like sourcing more stock, spending the kind of on the inventory and kind of growing that part of the business instead of kind of being, I guess, heads down in kind of the weeds of kind of pick, packing, dispatching?
Well, this is the Volo on the business rather than in the business stuff. Yeah, It definitely does. I mean, I was fortunate last year to do the Pro Trader program, which is something that I could really get involved in and look at the back end of the business, behind the scenes stuff that you maybe don't have time to do if you're spending all your time busy packing. And if your business is going well, you are spending a lot of time being busy packing. So it's finding that balance. So,
really, and it is a valid point, isn't it, that people that have small businesses are happy to outsource their accounting or, you know, even the software and everything else, yet they tend to hold on to the warehouse element. And when I've spoken with SMEs, it's like, well, did you go into business to run a warehouse? And it's very rare that they actually go into business because they like warehousing. Let's face it, it's a bit dull. So, you know, they're normally good at buying, or they're manufacturing something, or they're building something, you know, and it actually affords you the time to reinvest that time back into your business. So you stop working in your business and you start working on your business. And I think that's the massive benefit that actually using third parties gives you. It gives you just so much more scope.
And also, if you're starting out a business of your SME, you probably don't have access to the most competitive rates out there anyway.
No, exactly. You know, you can often, the savings that you're going to get across the couriers will often outweigh the vast majority of your cost of actually warehousing and pick, packing, dispatching.
So Clive, I was going to say, your company obviously offers fulfillment services to other sellers as well. So when do sellers use your fulfillment services, and what are they really looking for?
Yeah, ours is a little bit different to what Orange Connect does. So we tend to work with brands that are looking to establish a direct-to-consumer
Yeah.
business. So we look to offer a total service, including the optimization, the
Yeah.
listing, the pre and post customer service, and the warehouse pick, pack, and dispatch. So, you know, we don't look at ourselves as just a warehouse solution.
Yeah.
We're offering an online solution. So, you know, if you take a business like yourself, you know, you could literally go, here's my stock, can you do my listing, do my photographs, do everything, I'm just going to collect the money. You can have a whole suite of services that cater for the whole end-to-end service. So, but what we don't do, the same as eBay, we don't compete, we don't buy and sell stock, we literally provide services for people.
It's a similar question, so thank you.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about let's talk about peak now, right? It's going to be an interesting one. So what do you think are going to be the major challenges or pain points for the buyers, and how are you guys preparing for peak this time?
I haven't got all eggs in one basket. This is my big thing, and this is the lovely thing about using fulfillment. I've got, at the moment, I'm working with 3 different fulfillment solutions, and I've got a post collection. So I'm really spread out. So if one person can't ship something, I can redirect that sale and get it shipped from elsewhere. I'm getting as much stock packed up now as I can into the fulfillment solutions so they can manage the peak, and I'm just dealing with personalization, returns, customer service, keeping the marketing campaigns going from home. So I'm getting as much out as I can. So the fulfillments are picking up that.
Leave it to the experts, basically.
Yeah, that's it. And they work more days than me. Yeah, I'm not prepared to give up my weekends entirely. I'm all right with doing a bit of customer service, but I'm not going to start packing on the weekends. I've got a family. That's important to me. So,
Clive, for you?
Yeah, well, we start peak planning probably around April, May, because we have to align it with all of our clients and their forecasts. And the forecasts then tell us, you know, how many people we're going to need, what space we're going to need. But the biggest challenge this year will probably be people, to be honest. Being able to get the people for, you know, just a short period of time is going to be our biggest challenge. And what we've seen is that we've seen a significant increase in pay in that area to attract good people. But the great thing about it, you know, the good thing about logistics is that you can kind of sit there and go, well, you know, why don't you get into logistics? You may start within the warehouse, but if you look at all the industries over the pandemic, there's one industry that actually stood out and continued trading, and that was logistics. So we're kind of using that to attract more people as well. So, but no, people's going to be the biggest challenge.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So now the most important question, you know, obviously both of you have a lot of experience trading with eBay, and we talked about how important delivery is and what your plans for peak is. What can eBay do more for you as individual sellers?
I'd like to see if there's any possibility of eBay offering tracked services for smaller sellers, because I think this is quite a big problem. It's become an expectation from eBay to sellers, but when I first started out, it wasn't a requirement, and I couldn't have accessed those services. And I don't know how sellers can grow without having that there, whether there can be a Royal Mail 24 option on the shipping solutions that's at an accessible price point that can help small businesses, you know, scale. So that's something I'd like to see.
We'll take that one away.
We're definitely listening to that.
You know, I think eBay's changed a lot in the years. You know, I go back, you know, to when we first started, when I first started with eBay. There was a tremendous amount of focus on the actual customer, the end customer. And they kind of, over a period of time, and as we know, eBay's a big beast to kind of turn around and to change. There is now more of a focus on its sellers, and I think that's a very positive thing. And I think by doing that, you know, you're going to help an awful lot of sellers that will benefit from eBay, you know, by them actually focusing on their business and actually giving them support. So for me, you know, if you were to say, what could you do, is to give more and more support to your sellers, you know, and give them as much as you can. Obviously, we could sit here and say half your costs, which everyone will be really happy with. But we know that's not going to happen. So, I think it's a continuation of support.
Great, and which is why we're all here, because we think that sellers are really the engine which drives us all. So it's lovely to hear that from you. Thank you for that. Right, so I could keep asking questions, but I think we have some questions from the audience as well. So shall we take a few of them?
Yeah, so maybe take the one you all mentioned about kind of how important kind of free shipping is and 3-day delivery or less. What sort of operational challenges did you face to kind of overcome offering that to your buyers?
My initial problem was because of my complex home setup. Post runs can be really challenging one day to the next. We have periods where life is very stable and it's no problem. I can work Monday to Friday, and then other weeks where life isn't so stable and it's literally impossible to get to the post office or get the post packed. And so for me, that's why I moved to fulfillment.
Yeah, exactly. Take that headache away. Yeah.
It's a big challenge, that needing to be online all the time, and holidays as well. So.
I was just thinking on that as well. One thing that eBay could do is, I know within search you can search for fast and free now, or fast delivery, but you still can't search for next day.
Yeah.
And to have the facility to search for, well, I do actually need this quickly, because otherwise everyone's default is another platform. But they're sitting there going, well, I actually want it quick. I can't, so everyone's default is Amazon, So, having the ability to actually search for, I do want this for tomorrow, for what I'm actually looking for, is a trick that I think you're missing.
Yeah. So search by delivery speed, basically.
Search by delivery speed, an option, and next day delivery doesn't have to be free.
Yes, yes.
It can be an additional charge, but if I want it next day, I'm happy to pay more for it.
Yeah. In fact, that's what we hear from a lot of buyer feedback, that next day delivery is not a question of offering it free, but it's a question of offering it as an option, as a choice.
Yeah.
So on the delivery search filters, we hear you, and that's obviously something which we are focusing on bringing to the site. But have you noticed the new badges which we launched this year, what we think is the first step towards making delivery speed more obvious to the buyers?
Again, I think it's a positive step, but it's if you compare it with Amazon, it still doesn't give me a definitive delivery day.
Yeah.
And there used to be widgets that you could actually put within eBay if you wanted to yourself.
Yeah.
That would kind of emulate your order within 4 hours, and you can get it tomorrow, but they're no longer available. You used to be able to put them onto your platforms. But I think if everyone's sitting and saying there's still a massive focus on quick delivery or delivery expectation, then you need to call it out.
Yep.
You need to be able to tell people and say, well, it's okay having a range of you'll get it 1 to 3 days, but tell me when I'm going to get it. It's quite easy to do.
It's going further than that, isn't it now? I mean, with many retailers, not eBay retailers, when you buy direct, you can choose a time slot. So not just a day, but it can be, okay, I want that between 4 and 6 p.m.
Yeah.
It's
More the scheduled delivery type thing.
Yeah, or I want it on Saturday. I have one with customers quite often saying, actually, I don't want this tomorrow. I want to buy it now because I want it bought, it's for a present. I don't want it until, can you deliver it around then?
Yeah.
And I say, I can do my best.
Yeah. I guess more of the convenience that comes in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I want it when I want it, not just when you're going to deliver it.
But often,
Yeah.
because they come through on notes, they're the ones that you miss, because you can't, as is all automated, the order comes in, it could be being picked within 30 seconds.
Oh, mine is all, mine's all automated.
And then it's like,
goes through
it's gone, sorry, it's already gone out, but if you could choose either delivery options, or just calling out, when am I going to get it?
Yeah.
Which kind of answers the question here is, right, what do you think is the next big thing in terms of delivery expectations for customers?
Oh,
I think
there
you've
you go.
answered that.
Done that.
That kind of being able to schedule it, but also call it out more stronger in the flow, and then have it in a way that's more automated so it doesn't slip through the net in terms of kind of notes to the buyer.
Yeah.
And on personalisation as well, I mean, it's a big thing. We've heard a lot about it this morning. But gifting of stuff has become absolutely massive. And to have some form of being able to have a gift message with any item purchase that automatically prints out on the postage label, or that comes out somehow, to have that there. I mean, for many of the brands you sell, I could imagine that being a massive thing to be able to gift message a product as it goes out, but to have that as part of the automation. So it's there.
But we're seeing a lot of people getting into gifting, and getting
Yeah.
into that space.
Yeah.
Heinz have just done one around a gift. And we do a lot of gifting, because we do all of Fortman and Mason's hampers. So we do printing and gifting, but that's obviously all generated through their site. But having that ability to gift and to do messages, is becoming more and more important. Because people aren't travelling as much. They're still not getting out as much as they used to. So being able to send gifts and personalise it is a big requirement as well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And I think probably time for one final question, which is, are there any other kind of hacks or tips on eBay that you use that you could share to help other sellers? You mentioned about the kind of widgets in the past in terms of delivery speed, or anything else that makes your listing stand out or gets better conversion?
Yeah, obviously a good designed listing, as everyone's already gone through with lots of pictures, is a must. You've got to optimise your listings, and they've got to be accurately described. I think the biggest tip is just keep it simple. It's tell people what they're going to buy, show them what they're going to buy, tell them when they're going to get it, and deliver it on time. I don't think there's any. You can pretend there's a dark art, but there isn't really.
Right.
I love every bell and whistle. I love trialing all the new things that come out, which is why I'm here today. I like all the marketing features that are there that are fairly idiot-proof. The basic promoted listings is great because it's really simple to try. But the biggest thing is have faith in yourself. You are the expert in your business. No one else is. So you have to work out for yourself what works and what doesn't. Just because something is great for one person, it doesn't mean it's great for you. But on the flip, if someone else says, oh, this is a useless feature, that doesn't mean it's useless for you. Give it a try, see how it goes. It's like with fulfillment. I didn't start off by sending all my stock to fulfillment. That would petrifying thought. I started with one line. I sent a few products off, and I thought, okay, I can see how this goes. And over time, slowly built up until they were doing the majority of my stuff, which meant I never need to close. I'm now open all the time. But I didn't start with the plan, I'm never going to close, I'm always going to be open. I started off just seeing how this goes. So
It's about being open to new ideas.
yeah, just give things a try.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Great. Excellent. Well, thank you both for your time today,
Welcome.
and hopefully that's been interesting to people online as also in the room. So I just want to say thank you and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Get more tips and guidance from the eBay team by subscribing to our channel on YouTube and click the bell icon to enable notifications. YouTube will let you know as soon as new videos are available.